Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another Woodbrew video. My name is Dylan.
And I'm Molly.
If you guys are new to the channel, Molly and I are, well, she's about to be 24 years old, so we're basically both 24-year-old woodworkers. We started a woodworking business right outside of high school. We kind of shifted full-time into this YouTube creation thing. But if you guys are interested in business-related stuff, any sort of DIY projects around the house, then you're in the right place.
Before we get started, go ahead and smash that like button down below.
Also, you guys, if you've seen these new hats, we have some hats available. So if you'd like a Woodbrew hat of your own, we have a couple different styles. There's links in the description below. Let's get started. So if you guys watched last week's video, you know that we had a hurricane come through here and we actually had a giant tree laying on top of the shop right here. Now with the help of some friends and a tractor, we were actually able to get that tree off. And for the most part, we've gotten the yard pretty well cleaned up. But there's still a few things that we need to do in order to get this place really up and running. But for now, we're pretty much gonna get back to making videos and worry about some of this other stuff later. One of the big things we've had to deal with is a bunch of just random kind of yard debris like this, which has accumulated into being a large amount. In fact, I've ran this tractor here for almost 20 hours just picking up logs and debris like that, and clearly we still aren't done. But we've gotten a lot of the big stuff out of the way, which is the important stuff, and that's really the last pile that we have. But like I said, just the last week and a half, it's just been every single day out here, either with a rake or on that tractor, just getting the yard cleaned up so that we can actually get back to work. And that's why we haven't been posting so many videos.
One thing that I thought was gonna go was these branches up above the shop, but thank goodness that they didn't, because that probably would have done some real damage.
Yeah, these live oaks right here are pretty notorious for falling, and this one is leaning pretty precariously over the shop right there. And in fact, one of the limbs we had to cut down because it's super rotten is like right there. And that was one of our big concerns, but thankfully that didn't fall. What did fall, if you saw last week's video, was about 15 of our trees back here. I keep looking at the screen, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna probably have to flip it down so I don't keep doing that.
So we've got most of the debris picked up like we said, and we still have some stumps that we need to get out of the ground. We got a few, like there's a big hole right here, but there's still, what, like maybe 5 more stumps?
At least 5 more.
To get out of the ground, so that's probably the next thing on the list to get done.
We actually had a skid steer for a day, and the skid steer was able to get this stump out and one more of the stumps over here. The rest of them were too fixed in place, and he wasn't able to get those out. And so that means that we're gonna have to hire someone to come in and either grind these stumps or have like some type of backhoe and pull them out or dig them out. Not sure which way that's gonna go yet, but these aren't super high priority because really at this point they're just aesthetics and they don't really get in the way of us being able to use the yard, unlike all of those trees. Just to give you guys an idea of how many trees we actually had come down back here, it was about 15 on our property and about 22 on our neighbor's property. In total, we probably had well over 100 trees come down in this neighborhood. And just to show you some of them, we have 1, 2, we had 2 more over here, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 back here behind this shop, 12, 13, 14, and 15 on the other side over there. So we had 15 of our trees come down in here, but also you can see there's like a bunch of holes in the fences there and also over here. And that's because we had a handful of our neighbors' trees come into the yard as well. So we had a total of 18 or 19 trees we ended up having to clean up. Sorry about all the background noise. People are still using chainsaws and cleaning everything up in their yards. But yeah, it was a mess, and thankfully we've gotten it pretty well cleaned up so far.
One question that we've been getting asked a lot is if we're keeping any of the wood that has fallen, and no, we're not, but we do have some cherry here in the back corner that I think we're gonna make a project out of, hopefully.
Yeah, a lot of people have been asking about all the pine trees we had come down, and really they're just not that salvageable, and we need to get access to the property, and we wanted to get those out of the way so we didn't have time to try to line up a mill or anything like that. But we did have, this is kind of like the hardwoods pile that's either going to be firewood or maybe we can get something cool out of it. These pieces here are what I believe is cherry, and they came from a neighbor's tree that fell into our yard. And we're going to try to make something cool out of a handful of those logs because they're small enough that I can probably get them on our bandsaw we currently have. So maybe we'll get some cool projects out of, you know, some wood that came from this not so great storm. So you guys have probably rarely seen this back corner of our yard, but basically we have this kind of wonky storage shed that was here when we originally got the property. And we've kind of closed it in a little bit and we just use it for random storage. And that's because our current shop is really small. It's a 20 by 20 shop, which for some people is big, but for us, with the amount of equipment we have, it's definitely getting on the smaller side. And then you add in stuff like lawnmowers and tractors and just anything else that we have that's just normal lawn care stuff. And we just don't have room for it. So one of the big things that we've been talking about doing for quite a while now is actually adding on to our current shop. And what we were gonna do originally, I'll just show you, is we were gonna take and put about a 20 to 24 foot addition on this side. Come on, plane. Every day, same time. He just likes to circle around. I mean, I don't blame him.
Fun.
I don't blame him. If I had a plane, I would fly it every day too.
Me too.
He just goes in circles, probably in like a 5-mile circle, over and over. Anyway, so we were gonna do like a 20 to 24 foot addition that had a gable coming out this way on this shop. And that was basically our only option because back here in the back, weren't even really thinking about that at the time because there's just so many trees back there. We didn't really want to cut a whole bunch of trees down. Not only is that expensive, but we just didn't really want to do it. And so we just kind of put that off, and this was gonna be our plan. And that was gonna happen like maybe sometime 1st of 2021. But after this happened, and the majority of the trees are gone, and we still have a bunch of trees that need to be cut down. You can see a handful of these are just leaning that way. And most of the ones back here in this corner are also leaning, and they're gonna have to come down. We're just waiting to do that because we've just done so much cleanup recently that
we need a break.
We need a break from that, so we're just leaving those for a little bit. What it's done is it's opened up this back area of the yard and has given us the opportunity to actually just build an entirely separate shop back here, which for a lot of reasons is a lot better.
So one major thing why this shop would be a lot better than adding on to this one is because this yard is so big, and if we were to add on to this shop, it kind of cuts off this whole back section of the yard, so it really wouldn't get any use at all. So with this new shop, it's going to be a lot bigger, but it's also tucked away in the very back corner of the property, so we get full use out of the rest of the yard.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a whole lot better. Originally, this was basically the only idea we had, so we didn't really, think of anything else. But when you look at it from the other side, it really does kind of create, not an eyesore, but it makes you feel like the yard's a lot smaller than it actually is. And
yeah,
we just never even used this back area because it's so full of pine trees. And now it's not. So what we're going to do is instead we're going to put up a pole barn back here. It's going to be 30 by 40 currently, that's the current idea. And we'll have a whole separate shop, and that shop will be dedicated to Woodbrew and everything that we need to do in there, which is amazing because there's no more like hobby projects or just other random like household projects laying around in the shop getting in our way when we're just trying to produce some content. So it's gonna be nice to have those separated and have, I don't think this is focused at all. Anyway, I just think it's going to be a whole lot better having that shop be entirely separate, and it also gives us the ability to potentially add on to it again in the future because currently this is on my parents' property, but Molly and I have been talking for a long time about eventually buying this from them, and in that case we would be able to do basically whatever we wanted with this building, extend it. My thoughts in the future, just throwing ideas out there, would be eventually just to get rid of this building here and extend that building over there and make it really big, but then having all of this yard space. So yeah, there's just a lot of more flexibility by doing it this way, and we think it's going to be a great addition to our business and help us expand. And we've been really desperately needing it for a long time, and just super excited to be potentially starting in the next few months on this project.
That soon?
that soon.
Whoa.
We're thinking it's going to be January, maybe December at the earliest, probably December, January. You get so blown out in here, man. Why is this thing so bright?
I don't know. I literally look like a rat.
Oh. So to give you guys an idea of what this building might actually look like, we're talking about it starting about right here. That way we have enough room over here to, in the future, potentially add on a 10-foot awning or lean-to on the side. That way we can maybe pull equipment under there or close it in if we need more shop space in the future. And then it's going to go 30 feet this way, which is about from there to here. So this is how wide the shop's going to be, and then it's going to go 40 feet this way, which is almost all the way to the fence. And in fact, we may end up having to put that shop a little bit further that way because we want to be able to pull vehicles around the back of the shop and put stuff back here as well. But this is going to give us a massive shop that, again, that we could add on to maybe 10 feet or so this way if we wanted to in the future. But also the gable will be facing this way, which means that we can basically add on as much footage that direction as we want in the future, which gives us a lot of flexibility and is something that's really, I think, going to help us grow in the future without having to look for new spaces. If it was up to me, I'd go ahead and make the building probably like 40 by 60 and just fill up the whole backyard. But I don't think my mom would like that too much, and I don't think Molly would necessarily like that too much in the yard. So I'm just kind of, you know, doing what I can now. So hopefully if we get it in the future, maybe then I can convince Molly that we desperately need an even bigger shop, and we'll just fill the whole backyard up with it. It'll be 80 feet long.
Might as well just build a second house, you know?
Yeah, it's going to be more square footage than our house.
Oh.
These two buildings combined will end up being roughly the same, but probably a little bit more square footage than the house that's in the front.
Which is fine because, you know, we have our own separate hobbies that we were going to use bedrooms for.
Yeah.
Turn just a little farther down.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I'm short. So now the shop can house all of those hobbies like the sewing machine and stuff like that. Our crafting room, yeah.
I'm not 100% sure that 30 by 40 is going to be enough room for us to have a lot of separate rooms in there or do anything massive like that. I mean, it's big, don't get me wrong, but I also want to keep it open. So what we may end up doing is Molly and I are looking to buy a house in the near future, probably like within the next 8 to 12 months, somewhere in that range. And when we do that, we'll likely have some spaces at home that are dedicated for work as well, which will A, be a great tax write-off, but B, will also be good because we can have some more like dust-free environments, for instance, like sewing or crafts or electronics or anything like that. And that may just be better to do in a home sort of shop in our future home. But we're not sure, and that's what's so great about this shop here and the way that we're setting it up and what this storm has actually kind of uncovered for us and given us an opportunity, as we're going to be able to grow with our business in the future, and it's going to be a great addition. I mean, it's really going to open up a lot of doors for us, and we're super excited to be getting started on it.
Yeah, I was just going to say that this shop will be big enough for us to grow into, you know?
Yeah.
So like,
well, you know what they say, you're going to fill the shop up. I know the comments are going to say this down below immediately. It's gonna be filled up day one.
I'm gonna keep it tidy though.
You're not wrong. But like our shop currently is filled up to the brim and has just the minimal amount of room to walk around things and nothing more. So if we ever want to do big projects, it's a problem in here.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to, even though we're going to fill this shop up pretty quick, still have enough floor space to do large projects. That's ultimately the goal. I know as soon as we, get like a 4x8 CNC and, maybe a metal lathe and mill and, just all the things you need.
All the necessities,
It might start getting a little filled up. And that's when, the 10-foot section on the side that I was talking about comes in, and then future additions coming this way. It's all good. We're going to be set up.
Okay.
Leave a comment down below if you have any ideas or suggestions for building the shop. We want to do a pole barn construction here Basically, we just want to get the pole barn thrown up and then enclose it ourselves and do all that kind of stuff. But let us know if you have any advice on that, if you have any experience. Like, one of the big questions I have is what kind of insulation are you doing? I've seen a lot of spray foam, which is, you know, what I would like to go. That's the route I'm thinking about going, but should I just do that in the ceiling, or just do it in or do the whole thing, or don't do it at all, because there might be a reason for that. Whatever you have, if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comment section down below. It'd be greatly appreciated. Anything you maybe wish you had done in a shop that you made, or just anything at all, because we're in that stage right now of trying to make all these decisions. And yeah.
Wait, I have one more thing to show you.
Oh.
Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. We got our YouTube play button.
We thought this would be the perfect time to show you guys this, because, you know, we're potentially about to break ground on a new shop, got so much expansion going on within the business, and we just wanted to thank you guys so much for making all of this possible. I mean, honestly, this is kind of like one of those, like, things that you think about getting when you first start, but it doesn't seem really possible or real or anything like that. And now that we have it, it really is pretty surreal. I was thinking when it came that, like, I don't know, maybe I'd be a little underwhelmed or whatever, but honestly, this came like at the best time it possibly could have come.
The worst, but the best.
Yeah, it was like 2 days after the hurricane. We still didn't have power, and like, it just was not a great time. We had committed to do all these videos this month, and we had so much stuff lined up and we wanted to do, and then we got all of that just destroyed in that moment, and then this shows up. And it was just really great, and we just wanted to tell you guys how much we appreciate you, and this wouldn't have been possible without you guys' support over the last like 4 or 5 years of us making content. I know many of y'all have literally been here from the beginning.
Which is wild.
It's just crazy, but thank you guys so much. I mean, this truly means the world to us. We're not gonna like put it in a corner and forget about it. Like, it's gonna be displayed in our room or in our office. Like, I want to look at actually, we're kind of fighting over where it's going to be.
Right now, he has it in his office.
But I have to like trade back and forth a little bit or something.
Custody. You know, we have custody agreement between the two.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. This means the world to us, and we just wanted to say thank you again. And without further ado, I guess we'll see you guys like in a later video this week. Things are kind of screwed up because of all this, but we're really getting back on the train. We're getting back on the train. We're getting back on something this next week, and we're going to start making some more project videos and pumping out more content. Finally have power on, and it stayed on for a few days without flickering, so I feel pretty good that we're good now. So with that said, see you guys in a later video. Bye.
Bye.